Hello, welcome. I'm Chris Miglino with Sequire, and we're here at the world-famous Roth Conference in Dana Beach. I'm here with Mark Hastings from Phoenix Motors. It's symbol PEV on NASDAQ. Mark, welcome.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. So, your business is taking electronic vehicles to the next level. You know, we're talking big buses, big school buses, work buses. Tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing and all the different products that you have.
Great. Thanks, Chris. Yes. We have been in business since 2003. We delivered our first medium-duty electric shuttle to NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in 2015. So we've been doing this for a while. And we had focused on the medium-duty electric vehicle market, the mainly a shuttle bus, school bus, work truck market, until just recently when we were successful in acquiring Proterra Transit's electric vehicle bus business. The acquisition of these assets makes us the largest commercial EV manufacturer in the country. And we produce both medium-duty and heavy-duty transit buses.
And the people that are buying these buses are government agencies.
Yep.
Who else? Who else is?
Yeah, tremendous.
And how big is that market? Just the government, age. I would imagine they're all pushing towards going EV, going clean.
Yeah.
That must be a big market right now.
Yes, absolutely. Great question. The commercial transit bus market is about a 5,000 to 6,000 bus per year market here in the U.S. Of that market, electric vehicles are only about 15% today. But the expectation and the government's wishes is that number goes well over 50% by the end of this decade. So it's a large market. Our customers are similar from the medium-duty business and the heavy-duty transit bus business. A lot of customer overlap. Most of our customers are municipal transit agencies, local governments, colleges and universities, corporate campuses. That's really, the lion's share of our customers comes from those groups.
And you guys are not only building the buses themselves, but you're building the charging infrastructure as well, or you're building. I saw that you're doing something that has to do with swapping out the batteries.
That's right.
Will that happen on the buses as well?
In the medium duty buses, yes, and it's in the works on the heavy duty buses. It has not been done in this country yet, but we have the technology. A bus operator can swap out their battery in under 60 seconds.
Wow.
So which takes all fears, what's called range anxiety, takes all of that off the table when you can swap out a battery.
Is this happening in other countries?
It is happening specifically in China is where it has become quite the norm.
So a bus just pulls into a station, batteries get replaced,
Yep.
and it's off to the races again.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. And if you can envision a box carrier, it's about the size of a box truck.
Mm.
And so a customer pulls in, the old battery is taken off to one side, the new battery comes in. Then after that customer has driven away, the used batteries are recharged, and the cycle just continues.
And so you generate the revenue when you sell the bus. We were talking a little bit about earlier that a typical bus, these are more expensive than gas buses, but from a maintenance perspective, in the long run, probably way cheaper.
That's right.
Than operating a gas or maybe even diesel, or
Yeah,
that's most of them are running off of diesel. Okay, so no need for oil changes,
right.
No need for anything like that. So it saves them a lot of money there.
Yep.
And what over the life of the life cycle of one of these buses, what's the savings off of buying one of these versus ride a traditional bus?
On the medium-duty buses, we've done a lot of work showing our customers that we can save them about $1,000 per month per bus in terms of lower fuel costs, lower wear and tear. As you said, there are very few moving parts in the electric vehicle engine, no oil changes, so much lower cost basis. For the transit bus, we haven't owned the business long enough to have a long history of work that we've done. But all indications are that there's a tremendous savings on the EV side, similar to order of magnitude with the medium duty as well. All of our buses, because most of our heavy duty transit buses are funded in part by the government, by government grants. The FTA does a lot of our funding. Our buses are required to have a 12-year lifespan. And our buses have been delivered beginning in 10 years ago. So basically every bus we have delivered is still out on the road right now.
And how much of the buses and of the vehicles is the government paying for? How much does the subsidy cover?
I think it varies from state to state, with the highest portion coming in California,
of course,
because in addition to hefty federal government incentives, there are also a tremendous amount of state support for the greening of the fleet.
So when you look at California, what is that if you combine the federal and the state?
The state is probably on the order of 30% or so of of a medium duty shuttle bus, and the feds will be similar order of magnitude.
And does this provide the opportunity for let's say you needed to buy more buses? I mean, I would imagine you could finance 50% of a bus. So essentially, you could get back all the money to finance the vehicles themselves, or does it not work that way?
Yeah, that's a great question. And so far, we've kind of stayed out of that piece of the business, only because with most of our customers being municipal agencies, they kind of do it a little differently than a commercial purchaser would. For example, they may do a municipal bond issue to purchase that, but again, the ability to access federal and state funds is critical in this business.
So how much battery power does it take to run one of these big buses, like compared to what a Tesla has?
Right.
What's the magnitude of the difference between a Tesla and what's running this bus?
Yeah. Generally, I'm going to say 6 to 8 times.
Okay.
So our heavy duty transit buses come in 2 flavors. One has about 440 kilowatt hours on board, and our max buses have 660.
And that lets them travel how far? What's the
450 miles or so.
That's enough.
It's quite a range, especially as we talked before. A lot of our customers are municipal transit agencies, colleges, universities, airport authorities, wherein the buses come from a central depot, so they're on a standard track during the course of the day.
So going to the same place, so they're not. They know how many miles they're going. There's not a question about the traffic patterns or anything like that.
That's exactly right. There's no range anxiety. You know where you're gonna end up.
And okay, so that's the buses. That's your newest thing. I also noticed that you guys are doing some consumer vehicles as well.
That's in the works.
Okay.
That's our Edison Future, our light-duty vehicle, which debuted at the LA Auto Show a couple of years ago to a lot of fanfare. And we have a prototype, not only a prototype, we have a working prototype design for a solar-powered pickup truck and delivery van, sort of last-mile delivery van. And we are talking with several partners who are interested in. This is a different undertaking. It's a different kettle of fish to launch a light duty, especially if you're going to have some consumer target market there. I would think initially we'll focus on the commercial side of that, the delivery van, the work pickup truck, rather than selling to consumers. But so that would just kind of round out our suite of commercial offerings.
And give us a sense of the potential of the revenue of the business. Where are you guys now, and where do you think it's going?
Well, it's a great question. So Proterra's transit business generated or sold 200 buses a year in 2020, 2021, and 2022. So, and when we purchased the assets out of bankruptcy, we were doing about a quarter of that, about 50 a year. So just getting back to where the company has been in the past several years, we'll get our top line revenue up to $200 million plus.
That's great.
And that's just the transit bus business. The medium duty business has a backlog of about 100 vehicles, which is another $20 million. And we think we can generate somewhere in the neighborhood of that $20 million a year from the medium duty spaces. So we see scope to get up to a $200+ million run rate just with over the next several quarters.
That's great. That's that will be a big increase of the revenue, right? And how does that translate to the bottom line? I mean, this is heavy duty technology investment and things like that. So how does that translate long term into getting to profitability, or what's your thoughts there?
Great question. We expect to be able to get to profitability by the end of this year. That's our objective. And we target gross margins in the mid to high 20s.
Okay.
The company has not achieved that in the past. Proterra's transit bus business did not achieve that. So it is it is going to be a lot of heavy lifting to get there. However, there are competitors in our business that are doing just that. So we know it can be done.
Well, you got the right machinery for heavy lifting, because there's nothing light about putting buses out on the road.
Yep.
So everybody, please take a look at Phoenix Motors. It's PEV on NASDAQ, and watch for one of these buses roaming around in your streets.
Great.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it.
Chris.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me.